evil popcorn. Who do I have joining me here? What's that?
This is the Baron dressed as Mike Myers.
And Mr. Popcorn dressed as Ghostface. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I'm Scream Queen, and I think it's hip to be square. I am dressed as Patrick Bateman. If you can't tell, it's probably reflecting off the lights there. Now, we are continuing our theme of talking about Australian horror films today with the 2022 horror, comedy, satirical horror film Sissy. Now, what are our initial thoughts? Just general thoughts before we get deep into the movie.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very well made film, very well put together. It has a really nice feminine energy to it.
Yeah. Miss Popcorn?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it more than I thought I was going to, actually. I had no, biases or preconceptions about it, but I just didn't expect. It's not what I expected, definitely. It was darker and crazier than I expected. But it says really good points. It makes really good points, though. Yeah, so no, I enjoyed it.
I was interesting. And I guess a little not hesitant about putting this film forward, but I'm the one that suggested that we watch it. But it's got a very, I've seen it described as having a very Gen Z energy, so maybe it's an apt film for me to put forward, but...
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I personally love this movie. I saw it last year, and it just has really stuck with me. It's a film for the sort of crazier kids, the outcasts, I would say. So it's a very... I don't want to say relatable watch, but in some ways, I feel like it's very relatable. Yeah. So this film is it premiered at South by Southwest last year, and now it is being distributed by Shudder. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's very good. It is directed and written by Hannah Barlow and Kane Senners, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And Hannah Barlow also stars in the film as the main character, Sissy's best friend, or old best friend, which I think is always fun when a director and writer stars in the movie. She does a very good job alongside Aisha D, who plays Sissy, or Cecilia, who absolutely kills it, in my opinion.
I was trying to work out where I'd seen her before, and she was in a TV series filmed on the Gold Coast called Terra Nova.
Oh, right, yeah, she's been in a few things recently. I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but she's amazing in this film. And I think it's, I saw an interview with Hannah Barlow, both the directors actually, talking about her, and they sort of describe her character as a bit of a creep. Like a lot more in the screenplay. She's very much a creep, very strange, but they said when they met Aisha, she was immediately very defensive of Sissy and was like, no, like, she's my friend, like, she's not a creep, like, and I just think that's a very fun attitude going into her playing this role.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which I thought was fun. I mean, I feel like as a director, you would want your lead, I guess, to go in with that sort of mentality.
No, I get that, because, like, if you empathise with the supposed villain, which is what Sissy is made out to be in a way, you can find the humanity within the character, I think. I don't know if you've seen Yellow Jackets. Christina Ricci's character, which I forget the name of, but like Christina, if you've seen the show, you know, that character does some wild things, but Christina Ricci approached it like to see why they did it, why they felt justified acting the way that they do to find a humanity. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is a good approach.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something they really do well. Obviously, we'll get into it in more detail, but just as an overarching plot summary or like little synopsis before we get into the movie, this is about the character Sissy. Cecilia is what she's going by as an adult. She is an influencer. Her at is at Sincerely Cecilia, and she is a mental health advocate, wellness influencer. She has like 200,000 followers on Instagram. She's doing great for herself until she runs into her ex-primary school best friend, and you sort of start to see a different side of her. She gets invited to her hen's night and then her hen's weekend, and doesn't realise that when she gets there she will be met with the girl that bullied her in primary school and the reason that she fell out with her friend in the first place. So it all sort of spirals from there. So, does anyone else have any fun facts, any thoughts they want to add before we get into
once again, being an Australian film, I did check to see where it was made. It was made in the ACT and Yass.
Yeah.
Down towards the bottom of New South Wales, which is why it doesn't really have that sort of Queensland feel. I don't know why I was expecting a Queensland feel. And before I watched the film, I watched the trailer, and the trailer seems to be for a very different film.
Yeah? How so?
It seems more frenetic and more sort of slashery than the film actually is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's marketing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I haven't actually seen them.
Because they're saying to slasher, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But it definitely takes from
Yeah,
sort of
sure.
classic
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
slash elements.
Yes.
It
It subverts expectations.
Yeah.
Through playing with tropes.
Yeah.
Let me just check.
But I have no other information. There's not a lot of information about it out there that I could find. I listened to an interview with the actor who plays, is it Helen? Who's the bully?
Alex.
Sorry. The actor who plays Alex as an adult. Who is that? She's really familiar.
Ooh, I haven't seen
The
her
blonde
in anything
actor
else.
who plays Alex, yeah? Yeah, because I feel I've seen her in New Zealand. I'm not sure.
I'll have a little bit look at
Like
that.
they look at that, yeah. And yeah, they were just talking about general things, how like she was attracted to the script because it was different, it was clever, and especially the way Sissy was approached.
Yeah.
She liked the female messaging, the feminist messaging behind it, and she was really into it. That's pretty much
Yeah.
all I can come up with.
Yeah.
I liked the dichotomy that they had with the look of her as a child and the look of her as an adult. So obviously she was going for a particular look as an adult, which looked very different to the child version.
I have a question with that, not that it matters in the slightest, but I couldn't help but notice, and maybe me just being completely wrong. The girl actor for the character, were they of a different race?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
No, I think the drawing the eye is obviously the very dark hair on the child and the very blonde hair on the adult.
Yeah.
I think maybe she was making herself look more like her friend
Yes.
Emma.
Okay.
Mm.
That's a completely uneducated guess.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Not that it matters.
No, I think- Yeah, she kind of has that identity shift,
Yeah.
I guess, in adulthood. And so let's get into it. Let's talk about the plot. So the very beginning, the movie starts us off with Cecilia recording her. We see her content pretty much. We see what she puts out to her followers. It's this beautiful, long zoom out of her setup, her plants beside her sort of collection of tripods and things.
Yeah.
And something that stood out to me was the music in this film is very, like, they go from being very silly, almost elevator-esque music to very, classic horror, sort of tense music, which I thought was fun. And immediately they sort of do that flip in this moment because, it's very serious. She's talking about wellness and breathing, and then she starts doing an ad, a sponsorship in this video that she's recording, and all of a sudden it has that first sort of switch to that sort of the comedic element of the film, the satirical poking fun at like influencers and like they're getting paid to promote. I think it's an Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Really nice joke. I had to rewind in inverted commas to go, did I hear that? Yeah.
Even the subtitles, I think, when I was watching it said Elon Musk.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm pretty sure they're saying Musk, but we're introduced to her life as soon as she turns off the camera. She has the pizza out. We see like her kitchen is full of dishes.
Yeah.
It's the classic, She like pulls her sweatpants down, she like lets her belly out, she sits and she's like flicking through the news past tragedy after tragedy, and she stops on a reality TV show and she just sort of like sits there and posts her video and watches the notifications and love and admiration from her audience pour in. What do we initial thoughts?
The apartment really gave the feeling of like this is her sanctum, this is her safe place, this is her womb where she goes and like she is surrounded by herself.
Yeah, and that womb can also be a prison.
Yeah.
The same way it also can be a prison because she is hiding and isolating herself from the world.
It's very dark.
Yeah, it's
like,
very dark.
So
There's no
dark. Like she never.
Yeah.
She
I
has.
don't think you can see the outside world.
No. So it's basically contradicting everything that she just posted out online.
Yeah, I think probably the only light is the light she has for like her recording setup, and everything else is just and the TV exactly.
But it's not like she goes and switches off the camera and then starts making crazy faces or talking to herself. You know what I mean? It's a state of apathy that I think maybe is the best way to put it here.
Yeah, and it's just. It's like she only lives for her audience, and you start to see that. And sound design again, very clever. The way that a lot of it is like notification dings, like just over and over and over again, and like emojis and things like that.
All of the phone noises in the film are very distinct.
Yes, very crisp.
Even the police later on in the film, spoilers, having a police phone is an old school bell ring. And it's very crisp.
Yeah, so immediately you're like, oh, this is something that is very, very important to Cecilia. This is sort of where she gets her validation from and her joy from, and not much else by the looks of it. She lives a very solitary life for someone with 200,000 followers on Instagram. So then she goes to the pharmacy. I think she gets her period. We see a red blood drop emoji on the screen.
Yeah.
She's at the pharmacy, which, side note, the pharmacy was called, it was like a play on farm and like cows.
Oh,
like
look at that.
the pharmacy had the whole pharmacy was designed around like having a farm like name, and the cashier was dressed as a cow.
Oh, he was too.
And they had all of these little cow farm references throughout the pharmacy, and I was like, that's a lot of effort to go to for just this tiny little bit.
Maybe it's an existing cow-based pharmacy.
But I was like, if they just designed this entire cow-themed pharmacy for the movie, that's very intense.
Well, they did come up with a complete range of feminine hygiene products that do not exist in the world.
Oh.
So the packaging was definitely not product placement.
Interesting. Yeah. Maybe, very intentional. They're not trying to like sponsor anything.
Yeah.
There is that.
Yeah. She goes, she hears this voice that sounds familiar to her. She looks at the registers and she immediately recognizes this woman as her best friend when she was 12, 13 years old. And immediately panics, she like runs into a pregnant woman trying to escape the pharmacy, and her friend finds her. She recognizes her, and there's this very intense back and forth between them that is like extreme close-ups on both of their faces. Her friend has these like piercing blue eyes that are frankly horrific. Very scary.
They got the child version of her with the same thing. Like she had very similar eyes.
Yeah. And they have this conversation. It's very strange dynamic from the get-go, I would say, between these two.
Yep.
Her friend is very enthusiastic, full of life, and you can tell that Cecilia is very put off, but also mesmerized or sort of infatuated by this person, or like has previously been, and like
it's a strange thing. Like when she first sees it, like you're talking about this designed pharmacy. And then that starts. What I think they may be doing there is keeping her delusional world going. Until the friend comes along, and then that starts to break. And she is put off at first. She's distant at first, but then did she get the number? I think afterwards or something. And then
well, like they add each other on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right. And then the delusion starts to switch. She begins to remember her friend and see that she could have a friendship, a life. But in the way that she's doing it, though, it's not facing the reality of what happened in the past. But we'll get to. It's trying to create another new delusion, basically, outside of her apartment and her little circle of the triangle group. Whatever it was.
The circle of rope.
I did like how they drip fed those details of the childhood rather than giving us a whole scene. Drip fed
rather than an exposition dump.
They're very sneaky about it. I forgot to mention, but the movie starts off with the first thing we see is the child version of Cecilia, or Sissy. She makes a point. I feel like it's important to mention. When her friend runs into her, she's like, "Oh my God, Sissy, it's you!" And she's like, "My name is Cecilia."
Yeah, that's right, at the pharmacy.
And her friend's like, "Ooh, professional, all right," and is very sort of surprised by that.
And the child actors are really good.
They're really good.
The child actors are really good.
There's quite a few scenes with. I mean, we return to the moments quite often. So. Like the Baron said, drip feeding us little tidbits, so we can sort of piece together what has happened. Because there's a very strange vibe when these two run into each other.
And we get the "I don't want to grow up" moment from the kids. That definitely shows you where Cecilia is in her life at that point.
She gets an invitation from her friend who is engaged to come to her hen's karaoke night.
That's bachelorette for America.
Yes, bachelorette party. I recently saw a TikTok that was talking about someone going to their hens, and everyone in the comments was, "What is a hen?
Yeah, they have to.
What is it?" So a bachelorette party.
We do bucks and hens rather than bachelor and bachelorette.
Which I didn't even put two and two together. Big party scene, very fun.
Karaoke?
Yeah, karaoke. Very fun, very queer. They all have little rainbow
stashes.
Yeah, but also they all go into Alice's house and start partying straight away, while Sissy, I think, is left with the luggage. And who walks in, and the whole time that this over-the-top, exaggerated party scene, and then Sissy's basically left outside, comes in, is standing in the corner, and has to wait until the jubilation and dancing is over before they even realise she's there. They remember she's there, yeah, at the start, yeah. So her isolated status is set in stone from the get, yeah. We see through her eyes, yeah, and we see that she feels not welcome from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, like awkward from the beginning. Yeah.
She sort of has to go. She has a mantra. It's
okay.
You are loved. you are special.
You are enough.
I am loved.
I'm special. I'm enough.
Yes. And so she sort of has this moment where she lights the candles and she does her mantra again.
Yeah.
And she sort of has to psych herself up to see Alex because she's not met with a very generous reaction from Alex, which is fair enough, I would say. I think a very weird move on Emma's part.
Yeah.
To invite him.
Yeah, really weird.
Very strange.
Was Sissy aware that it was Alex at the start? I know Alex wasn't aware, but was Sissy aware whose house, whose hands?
It wasn't until they got there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I know there's a moment before where she's scrolling through Instagram because that's sort of the way that she perceives the world is through Instagram. She sees that very recently Emma has tagged Alex in something, so she knows that they're friends.
Okay.
But when Alex doesn't show up to the karaoke night, doesn't show up to the house or like for the road trip.
Yeah.
She's probably like, everything's fine. Alex isn't here. And then they start bringing up her name, and she soon realizes that.
Yeah.
And then on the road trip, there's the two dead kangaroos. There's one on the side of the road.
Yeah, more dead kangaroos and symbolism.
Yeah, I was going to say there's the parallels between Talk to Me and this. And they sort of have a similar moment.
Yeah.
Like Mia does when the little brother is like, are you going to kill it? Because you should probably kill it. It's suffering. Sissy, who runs into the kangaroo, can't go through with it. So Emma, her friend's fiance, Fran, says it's the humane thing to do.
Yeah, there's only one thing to do, the humane thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says it's the humane thing to do, and she runs that kangaroo over, and its head splats.
That was Fran who did that.
Yeah.
Because Sissy wasn't going to do it, because if Sissy did it a lot like Talk to Me, she would have to face up to her past.
Yeah. Because when she sees the kangaroo on the road, she actually, we see that she's picturing a girl in a school uniform with like a big gash in her mouth, and so she sort of zones out, and everyone's like, okay, let's just run over the kangaroo and go to the hens. They drive to the hens with the blood splattered all over the windshield, and they arrive, and like Mr. Popcorn said, they show up, they completely ignore Sissy, and she's sort of psyching herself up to see this person that she hasn't seen.
You see not to be gross, but you see the kangaroo's head like pop.
It's
really gory.
Really gory.
Extreme close-up.
Extreme close-up, like hostile style, extreme close-up at that moment. Yeah, no, it's not for the whole film, don't panic, it's not extreme. This is not a torture porn movie, but for that moment it really...
Yeah.
I really drove the point home. Yes.
There's probably about 4 moments like that.
Yeah. There are some pretty brutal moments, but they're rare.
It's for punctuation.
Yeah. And the directors tried to use as much practical effects as they could. I think they had someone work with them who worked on the Mortal Kombat movies, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that is correct. Yes, I did hear that in the interview. Yes.
Larry Van Dunhoven.
And I believe that's the new Mortal Kombat, not the 90s ones.
The one
just to clarify.
Yeah, the one filmed in Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
And just quickly, just another parallel there. Talk to Me, the Philippine brothers are going to be doing Street Fighter, the movie.
Ooh.
That's what they're doing next up to Talk to Me too. I
Oh,
watched them on
nice.
Joe Rogan. They got on Joe Rogan's podcast, yeah,
Okay.
which is good for them. And Street Fighter. Where if you've seen their stunt work, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But not to I digress.
No.
Yeah.
So they go to the house. It's very strange vibes. Again, they put the reality TV show on that they've
Generic.
It's very like you hear the little sound bites and you just hear people talking about Shazza.
Oh
Did this and Shazza did that.
But it's like a Jersey Shore level
Yeah,
trash.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Love Island.
Love
Yeah,
Island.
it's called like Paradise
Yeah.
Lost. No.
There's a lot of work gone into the background of the design of this world.
Yeah.
Yes.
And hearing the directors in interviews, it sounds like they threw it together pretty, like everything sort of came together very quickly. So it's quite impressive,
Yeah.
like the level of detail they've been able to go into considering. And it sounds like they've pulled a lot of different, all hands on deck sort of thing. And then Cecilia, who has dug up, there is a time capsule that her and Emma made when they were on Emma's 13th birthday. And before they go on the hens trip, she digs it up, she goes through it, and she pulls it out at this hens party in front of...
Sissy pulls it out.
Yeah, Sissy pulls it out, and it's like, oh, I've got a fun, exciting thing to show everyone. And everyone except Emma is...
Well, no one's really paying attention.
No one gets... Yeah, she has to yell, I think. She has to yell Emma's name. And then as soon as she yells and everyone, comes to attention, she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, she's like, oh, sorry. She's got this very, coy...
All right. Question, because this the psychological, social dynamics of this film fascinate me. Do you think they were being cunty at the start, or was that Sissy's perception of what was happening?
Oh,
Yes, so
column
we're
A.
Australian, I can say that word.
Yeah.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
A little bit of column A, column B.
I think they're very narcissistic personalities.
Yes.
So it's very much about them.
Yeah.
I think Emma is a genuinely, nice person.
Outside of this group?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a tricky question.
It's a tricky
I
question.
go back and forth.
Yeah, because it's Sissy's perception. We see everything through Sissy's eyes, kind of.
I'm a Sissy apologist.
So am I then. Yeah,
I am.
because I get Sissy.
Yeah,
I get what she's
she's-
coming from. Not that I would do.
No,
Ever do what she
obviously
does,
they've
but-
taken it to the extreme, but Hannah Barlow, even herself in interviews, talked about how this, has come from a very real personal experience of being bullied from a young age, and you carry that into adulthood. You really do, and this is just sort of taking it to next level. But she's a very relatable character. And I think that they are kind of awful people. I think that they are, sometimes they say things, I'm like, God, you're so obnoxious. And they're just they're not very welcoming. And although it is very strange that Emma has invited her along to the hens situation, if the bride wants an old friend to come to the hens, just be nice and just let her do it. Is what I would say.
Yeah.
It is did I just say that it was a weird move for Emma to invite her?
Yes.
But in saying that, if that's a decision she makes, then as a friend of Emma's, I personally would be like, cool, your friend is coming. Oh, this is another person that appreciates and loves you like I do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Everyone, Alex has some, excuse.
yeah, I get Alex being sort of traumatized by the experience, because obviously Sissy was as well.
But the others, it's,
Yeah, what about Jamie, Tracy, and Fran as the fiance?
Yeah.
But I was just curious, because, do you think there's a purposeful, intentional ambiguity with the way it's presented at the start of this point? Because we
Absolutely.
don't know what
And they want you to empathize with Sissy, which I think is very interesting.
It is interesting because it's a strange mixture of wanting you to empathise with her, but also being cautious of her. Though, as well,
Like she's scary.
The whole time you're asking, "Are you okay?
Are
you okay?"
She has truly mastered the little giggle.
Yeah.
The little smile. Like she has so many moments where she's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's so subtle.
Yeah.
But it's just like slightly, it's like the uncanny valley sort of situation.
I think my experience of the film was coloured slightly by the fact that I knew that it was a horror film.
Yeah.
If I okay, so for example, I recently watched The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is a Dracula film. It's
Andre Olvedal, how do you say his name?
Yeah, correct. But it's basically 12 pages of the novel describing a ship that goes from Transylvania-ish to England carrying Dracula, and everyone dies and the ship is empty when it makes land. But if they hadn't called it The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and it was some other name, I might not have known it was Dracula.
Yeah.
So the whole time, for the first half of the film, before it starts to go sideways, I was going, when's the horror starting? When's the horror starting? When's the horror starting?
Yeah. Right.
So I mean, obviously getting the thing with the couple of dead kangaroos kind of kept that sort of feeling up.
Yeah.
So I think my experience of it was slightly marred by the fact that I was waiting for the horror to start.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think going into it, I didn't know it was a horror film, but I knew that there was sort of a light-hearted sort of, I don't know.
Well, when I looked it up online, it said horror comedy.
Yeah.
There's funny moments, but as you say, satirically so.
Yeah, and again, the directors did say it was a lot funnier on paper. It became sort of a lot darker in practice, which I think is very interesting, and probably a lot due to the performances of the actors. And
sorry.
but there are some very, very funny moments. Not laughing out loud, but some nice little moments throughout there.
Yeah.
His little hee-hees. Baron, just a quick question. Now, are you good with slow burn horror?
Yes.
You are? Okay.
But I think because the start of the film was a very different feel to the horror on the back end of the film.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see those little moments.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think it kept taking me out of the film going, was that a horror moment? Is that a horror moment?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Good.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh, no, sorry, you go.
no, just saying, do you think there was subverting expectations?
Probably.
Do you think they subverted you?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah, I think I liked the flipping. I mean, you think about the opening title is that sparkly glitter.
Yeah.
It spells out Sissy and glitter, and it's got a little glitter heart over the eye, which I love. I just think, I think you said a very feminine, or maybe it was you, feminine energy about the film, which I love, and is obviously one of the reasons that I was like, we have to watch this movie.
It was a good choice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Quick question. Have you seen Piggy?
I've seen half of it.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've seen half of it. I've seen half of
Okay.
so many movies.
So if you want to see a double feature and you want a kind of Spanish version of
Yeah.
this, watch Piggy.
Yeah, again, relatable, outcast
Yeah.
film.
A little
Is
more
it Spanish?
brutal,
Oh, a
little more
lot,
brutal,
yeah.
than Sissy.
Is it Spanish?
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's great. I need to finish it.
Yeah. And on Shudder again, I
Yeah.
think both are on Shudder.
And interesting, like the sort of like the empathetic lens of both
Yes.
films for the characters.
A few little callbacks to Carrie.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I mean, I guess that's the OG of this type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The directors definitely mentioned that. And they also mentioned, which I think I want to talk about a little bit later, because it's one of my favorite parts of this film, but Muriel's wedding
Oh yeah.
was a huge inspiration for this film.
Wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, she has
Oh,
You're Terrible, Muriel.
Okay.
That's the last shirt that she has in the film.
I've never seen it. Can you see it when you watch this?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's sort of, Muriel is a very unconventional main character.
Yeah, okay.
And she's ostracized, and she doesn't have a lot of friends. And I guess it sort of has its dark elements as well. And so this film absolutely echoes that. I admittedly haven't seen it in a while, so I'm a little foggy on the event.
Cool.
But it's a very fun comparison, I think, and very interesting looking at it as like an Aussie sort of horror film. Obviously, Muriel's Wedding is like an Australian gem, if you will. So yeah, where do we go next? So I think there's this tension between the friends and Alex. They have this really awkward dinner.
Oh, beautifully staged.
Oh, the dinner's great.
Wonderful.
So they definitely isolated Sissy at the end of the table. You can see the others all sort of clustered around one end, and when they did the reverse shot, it was
It's
her.
all looking.
Yeah, and so Alex at one head of the table.
Yeah, that's true.
Sissy at the other.
And there's a really nice shift of status there when they discovered that Sissy had 200,000 plus followers on Instagram, and then it's like, oh, suddenly we're interested in you because you're interesting.
Yeah, there's a line that's like, oh, everyone at this table is cooler than me, and they're talking about how cool she is and stuff. Like, oh, she's sponsored by Elon Musk.
Until Alex steps in and puts a kibosh on that.
Yeah, and she goes, she's taking every chance she can get to sort of undermine Sissy.
Yeah.
And it's obviously very triggering for her because she's like, oh no, it sends her right back to school. I think that's what's sort of starting this spiral in Cecilia, is because she's just being sent all the way back.
Yeah.
Which probably is someone that she hasn't really left for the last 10 years of her life. Sissy. I would say like she's probably stayed in this sort of
Cocoon.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, talking about her house and just what the way that looks like. I feel like it has always been something propelling her to do, even her influencing, like that is the reason she started doing that. She wants to be liked, she wants to be admired, and she's just constantly thinking about that, trying to get away from that.
Incident in her past.
Yeah.
Yes. Which I would argue in her own way, not argue, but suggest in her own way that Alex is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like,
Yeah.
Alex seems very successful.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she's got this beautiful house in the New South Wales
she's
countryside.
rich,
Yeah.
I got the feeling that it was family money though.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
because she's the one who gives Emma the beautiful gold best friend.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that thing, yes.
And
the heart,
and
the two
earrings
hearts,
and
two halves
stuff.
of the one
Yeah.
The trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, very important piece of the puzzle. And, you know, things get weird. Sissy's having nightmares about Alex getting her to feel... So Alex has a scar on her.
Yes, on her
cheek.
Do you want to
Chin
say what
cheek.
happened?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the next half is kind of the unfurling.
The friends, they leave Sissy in the house by herself and they go off to a lake, and basically Alex is like, why did you invite her? Because she's a psycho and she's, you know, directing everyone towards the scar on her face, and you discover that Sissy is the one who gave her the scar. She was being bullied by Alex at school. They were calling her a sissy,
Yes.
which is why she doesn't like to go by Sissy.
But this is Alex and Emma.
So Emma is sort of in the background, just letting Alex sort of...
It's Alex and the two girls from The Shining.
Yeah, the
Australian version.
the red-headed twins. Such a bizarre little...
Yeah, that is true. What was that?
And she takes the shovel she used to bury their little time capsule.
Yeah, a little trowel.
Yeah, and she just
Stabs her in the
stabs her in the
It's
face.
sticking right out of her face.
Yeah.
She turns around slightly to the camera, and there it is sticking.
Beautiful
right
little
out.
piece of practical work.
Yeah,
too.
it's really-
Yeah, and she pulls it out, and
Oh,
blood is
And
just
then blood, yeah.
spurting down her face. She starts screaming. They start calling the teachers over.
I would have liked to have seen a scene with Alex, and they might have had to cut it for time because the film was already over an hour and a half, but I would have liked to have seen a scene with Alex by herself putting on the foundation and stuff over quite a gnarly scar.
It's a, you know, and that's 10 years on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's deep.
Yeah.
And then immediately after, you know, Sissy shoves a trowel in her face, she's like, it's not my fault. That's like what she said. She's like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
That's another bunch.
She's very separated from her own actions, and she's not one to take accountability. And I really think she sees Alex entirely as the villain.
Yeah.
She has zero self-awareness. I think she's I don't know if that's true.
When they showed the scene of the trowel going into the face, I wrote down, well, that's a sharp turn.
Yeah, because that's what, you know, obviously the way that they drop the information in, you realise, oh, Alex is the girl that Sissy imagined in the place of the kangaroo on the road, and that is why their relationship is the way that it is. And look, fair enough. She says to Sissy, she's like, I have to look at this scar every day and be reminded of you. And you can sort of empathize with that, but I'm still watching this. I was like, Alex sucks. I was like, just get over it. I think there's a line where Emma
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, Emma says to her, we were 12 years old.
Yeah.
Get over it. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really hold a 12-year-old accountable. I mean, for their actions to an extent. Like, kids act out.
12-year-olds are all psychopaths.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when she was being bullied.
Yes, and her best friend, who gave a much short, the locket was sees the other, meant to be the other half of her heart on someone else as well.
Yeah.
And it really does punch in the BFF status at the start between them.
It's the classic new friend comes in, kicks the old best friend out.
New relationship energy.
Yeah, new relationship energy, and it's like just
everyone's in a childlike state in this movie.
Yes.
No one leaves
a
a childlike state. Yeah.
Even the cop.
That's
true.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I'm just getting that now.
That just came to me.
Yeah, with the pie.
Everyone's in their own state of delusion throughout this film.
Yeah. It's a huge running theme of not growing up, of not moving on.
Yes, there we go. That's a beautiful way to put it. Yeah.
Freezing time.
Freezing
time.
I which you do in social media.
Yeah.
You literally freeze time to make it look as nice and sculpted as you always do.
I think she says she's like, I want everything to stay the same. I don't want anything to change.
Yes.
Which is a terrifying sentiment. And obviously Emma is sort of the antithesis of Sissy in a way because she's lived in America.
That is true.
She's engaged. And Sissy says to her, you're exactly like you said you would be.
Her fiance is in training to be a professional.
Yes,
like a doctor.
Her fiance is probably the nicest out of the bunch.
She kind of swings backwards and forwards.
Yeah,
she's not so nice either.
She says a nice thing, and then all of a sudden, 10 seconds later, she's then like, "Oh, fuck this bitch."
Yeah, I was like, why is she friends with? It just feels like she wouldn't really be friends with the people in the friend group.
No,
that
is true.
But then she'll be like just having the time of her life.
And I'm like, 6 months into the marriage, she's definitely cut Emma off from all those friends.
Yeah. The friends, they're very. It's hard to watch. I think in a way, some of the conversations that the friends are having, especially when they're isolating Sissy, it's sort of cringe-inducing.
Yeah.
Watching it play out and just them not engage with her at all and be totally disinterested in what she's saying, except for Emma, who is trying to, be kind.
Yeah. But still keep her friendships.
Yeah. Yeah, she has,
she's politicking, definitely.
She sort of defends Sissy in front of Alex, and Alex gets really upset and says, okay, fine, you want to defend her, that's fine. Like, fuck you. And then I think Emma has a little bit of she has a moment where she's just like, oh God, like, who's in the right, who's in the wrong? And she's just sort of thinking about it, and she feels like she's betrayed Alex for defending Sissy. And meanwhile, she's having that little emotional crisis.
Yeah.
Sissy's having a heart-to-heart with Alex.
In the creek.
Yes,
Yeah.
Alex confronts her. Is like, I know you're there. I know you're listening. I hate you.
Because she spots her before anyone else does.
Yeah.
And starts turning the conversation to Sissy.
And she has stolen her phone, and she is recording a video of Cecilia just sitting there, sort of, she's like cowering almost in the creek. And she's like, fine, if you're not going to confess to it, I'm going to tell them what you did. I'm going to tell your followers that you're a monster, you're a psycho, you attacked me and tried to kill me.
Like 20 years previously.
Yeah. And she goes to post it, and they have this, my favourite weapon of all time, this quartz crystal
Oh,
that
yeah.
they get as an engagement gift.
Yeah.
She's
She's got weird friends.
Yeah. Oh, so weird. But also I think like, as like, it's like a very queer friend group. I'm like, that is also just very true to the queer community. They're like doing tarot, and they've got crystals around.
Oh, is it?
I would say it's a very specific strain of gay.
Yeah.
And that's what they are. And I'm not necessarily people that I would want to hang out with. Like, each their own. I'm not against crystals, but just these specific people are so, they're cunty.
Yeah, cunts.
They're not very nice.
Gender, sex, society, just cunts.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's really the way to put it. They are not nice people.
They're not nice. They're obnoxious, and they're loud, and they're sort of arrogant. And she hits Alex over the head with this quartz
Yeah, that was kind of dope.
blood, just like she hit her very hard.
Yeah, I was sure she was dead.
I was so sure she was
I
dead.
wrote death number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wrote Sissy has gone all Ivan Milat.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone is gone by this point, so she's sort of in the clear as far as witnesses go.
Yeah.
She hides Alex's body. She
Not very well.
No, terribly shallow grave.
And it seems to be in a direct path between where they were and the house.
They're just walking around in that area. Alex's body is just in broad daylight. She's not attempted to go very far out of the forest whatsoever. And it seems like she's dug the grave with her hands.
Yeah.
Because she has this moment where she goes live talking about planting, repropagating a plant in the earth and being connected to nature, and she's just like covered in blood and dirt from burying this girl that she's killed.
And she's just been in a fight.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Then you have Jamie come along.
Oh no, but don't forget she takes the trophy.
Oh!
She takes the Mizpah
Yes,
coin
this is the
necklace.
thing. You see the guilt. You see the guilt of like, oh, Alex, like, oh no, what have I done? And then she notices the necklace.
Sorry, just for nuance there. There is the guilt, but there is the kind of holding their head, almost about to scream, and it starts kind of laughing kind of thing.
It's
So it's like the reality is almost broken through, but she refuses to let it, even at this stage.
And even when she is committing these heinous acts, there is a lot of blame on her victim.
Yeah.
Of why did you make me do that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That again, it's like she cannot.
It was an accident.
Yeah, she cannot take responsibility. She's like, self-defense. It was obviously that's her cover story, but she's like,
Bashed in your brain.
Alex, why did you make me do that?
And there's another Australian movie where a violent person blames the victims and goes, "Oh, look what you made me do, you suck," and that's Chopper. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It just reminded me. There's a little bit of a parallel. Yeah.
Eric Banner's amazing in that.
Yeah.
I have to see it.
Yeah. So Sissy's dangerous.
She is, and
Sissy is dangerous.
And you can see her motivation. It's not just to, it is to protect her image. absolutely. But
Yeah.
also, she is trying to get closer to Emma.
Yeah.
She has an obsession
Yeah.
with her, and everyone else that
Yes, yes, yes.
has, had the luxury of having Emma in their lives,
Yeah.
she is so jealous of, and she knows deep down that she is the best friend
Yeah.
that Emma is ever gonna have.
Yeah.
And so she takes that necklace because she thinks it's her. She feels, I think, that she's owed it.
I think she's got a delusion that no
Yeah.
matter what happens, she's going to be able to fix it.
Yeah.
So no, it's okay, Emma. I've killed all of your friends, but we're still cool,
But
right?
now we can hang out.
We can hang out.
Now you have time to hang out with me, your best friend.
Yeah.
What year was this made?
2022.
It was 2022,
Yeah.
was it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, like I said, they would say, yeah. How old is Sissy's character?
I want to say that they were 13.
Yeah.
And then maybe
As
like
children.
late 20s?
Yeah, I would say or mid early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of hard to say 20ish. Mid 20s.
Certainly not 30.
No.
No, definitely not 20 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what death are we up to?
Jamie.
Yes.
So he comes along looking for a place to piss.
Finds the
He
3
finds-
square feet of the forest where there's a dead body.
And she's laid petals out. It's very beautiful
Plant a
burial.
little plant.
And he sees it. He's like, "Oh, this is nice," and he starts pissing on it.
Yeah.
And you see the little ear poke
Yeah.
through, and Sissy's seeing this, and she's like, "Oh, I've got to step in," and she interrupts him midstream, and is like, "Oh, hey, hi,"
Were
and
you watching me?
she's yeah. And he's like, "Are you watching me?" She's like, "That's disgusting." She's a terrible liar.
Yeah, she's awful.
She's awful. And she,
Yeah, she is.
I think I know, she has this, she's like, he falls over, he disturbs the dirt, Alex's dead body is exposed, and she goes, oh my god, is that Alex? Like, she has this moment where she's just
Yeah.
giving the worst performance of her life. I'm like, you think, I guess she's so deep in her delusion that she can't pretend to be a good liar. She can't pretend that she hasn't done these things. And I think and he starts running.
On his crutch. In the forest.
Yeah,
And she can't catch him.
And they go all the way to the edge, and there's this beautiful, one of my favorite parts of the movie is he goes, because she's like, it was self-defense. She's trying to cover her ass. It was self-defense, and he's like, if it's self-defense, then why didn't you just tell us what happened? And then so he says, very obnoxiously, in his very obnoxious Jamie way, that Sissy's cancelled when they find out this whole shovel trowel incident has happened.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, I'm cancelled, aren't I? And she clicks in his face.
The same way he was.
The same way he was. And she was like, why would you guys believe me? And he immediately switches and tries to be very kind, which you have not seen him be for the entirety of the movie.
He's a bitch.
He's a bitch. That is a great, Jamie is a bitch. And he goes like, I'm here for you. Like, and another friend comes looking, she shoves him off the cliff.
No. Does she shove him or does he trip? Because that's a critique I've heard about this film.
I think she
Kills,
pushes him.
He raises his crutch to get something between him and her, and she pushes the end of the crutch.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely
Yeah,
think
okay.
he is pushed.
Yeah.
Like, they're very close to the edge, so like you could argue that
Because she
he
nearly falls over as well.
Yeah.
Because the kind of haphazard, almost accidental nature of these kills, my thought was, is that to muddy the responsibility in Sissy's mind,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, it was an accident, it wasn't my fault
Yeah.
playing on that whole thing,
I think you could definitely argue that there is an accidental element to the kills, but I feel like deep down it is very intentional.
Oh, that's
Like,
what we see.
yeah.
We see
Yeah.
a kind of accidental
Yeah.
presentation of it, but I believe it's entirely purposeful. But that
It's
she's
all of
still
them
in
she could
denial that
argue,
she's doing
yeah,
it, even
that-
when she's
like,
killing
oh
them.
no,
Yeah, she's still in denial.
I had a couple of moments from about here onwards where my brain was going, is there some sort of outside force acting here? Is there some sort of spirit or something, or is there something happening? Obviously there's not.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah, it's just childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And someone that probably should not be giving mental advice, but should be taking
it.
mental
Absolutely.
advice.
I was like, all of these people need to be in therapy.
Yeah.
Fran, like, as a mental health professional, what are you doing? Surely you have registered something is wrong.
Yeah.
Look, she's not finished her studies yet, so I'll give her a break.
Yeah.
But amidst all of this, Alex is alive. She wakes up sort of as a zombie from her
Or just really pissed off.
Right. She's so angry, she screams. She's got like a bloodied eye, her head is still like profusely bleeding.
Partially caved in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So I put down here, so we're up to death number 3 with the river. But then all of a sudden, the 3 people we thought were dead, the 3 women that we thought were dead, are not dead.
Not dead.
So far, now at this point, it's only 2 kangaroos and him.
Yeah.
Not Alex.
Jamie. Yeah, and Emma's got taken down the river trying to find Alex's bag.
That's right.
And Fran, I don't know where Fran is. Fran's lost. Tracy's gone back to the house. They don't really care where their missing friends are, I suppose.
No, they're all psychopaths.
Yeah, they like the lack of, like, when Tracy doesn't find Jamie, so she just goes back to the house.
Yeah, it reminds me of You season 4. Have you seen that?
No.
Those bunch of fucking rich British twats.
No.
Yeah, where he goes into this, very like English countryside, old school Victorian mansion, and have you seen You at all?
I've seen the first
setup.
2 seasons.
Yeah, but You, he's basically he's a more suave Dexter.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's a stalker. Yeah, but
Right.
he thinks, he doesn't. Is it stalking? Is it love? In his mind, he's asking these questions and Yeah.
Very good.
And so it's another situation with someone that you kind of like, but is a complete fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Among the potentially worse people who are upstanding citizens of society.
Yeah.
So it's really playing with that dichotomy really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a really good
Yeah.
comparison, actually. Yeah, Joe and Sissy. Yeah, definitely watch it.
Oh,
I would say the second season is a lot better than the first season.
Oh yeah.
So much better, so you can skip it, but don't. But maybe.
So now Sissy gets in the car. Are we at that point?
Oh, so there's another kill first. So she.
Oh, in the bar.
Yeah, she walks back.
Yeah.
It's nighttime by the time she gets back to the house. Tracy's there.
Cuts her own arm over with a stick.
She
That's right.
So it's she's looking for sympathy.
Yeah.
And she's looking to position herself as the victim. So she fakes this injury. She says, Alex attacked me. And Tracy, surprisingly, is very sweet.
Yeah.
Runs her a little bath and
Dresses a wound.
dresses her wound. She's got a face mask on. She's living her best life. And then
Elon Musk.
her Elon Musk.
Very slasher film.
Yeah.
The mask.
It's very
Yeah.
This is where it starts turning into slasher.
Yeah.
It's getting very insidious. Sissy grabs Tracy by the arm and gets very scared. And like she's a lot taller than her as well. So the moments where Sissy's sort of towering over her.
When she stands up in the bar.
Yeah, she looks, and she's got the face mask on, and it's very intimidating. And she falls in the bathtub. Her hair gets stuck in the swirling shower, the drain, hole, and it like scalps her.
Yeah, I don't know how it did that.
I don't know how it did that, but I liked it.
Yeah, I was good.
Very
It was a
fine.
really good effect.
It felt very Final Destination. It was good. And then that's when she changes into her "You're Terrible, Muriel" shirt.
But leaves the death trophy around her neck.
Yeah.
And puts it outside the shirt.
Yeah, she's very proud about it.
Yeah.
Very, very proud of that win. And that's when I think that's a big tell because she's being like, oh, Alex did this to me. And then people are clocking the necklace and going,
Did she?
I don't know about that, Sissy. I've been friends with Alex a lot longer than I've been friends with you. You're a stranger. So yeah, that's when she gets in the car.
Yeah, okay.
She's back in the car, and
Well, that's right, they make a joke at the start. Can you drive stick?
yeah,
Yeah.
so she can.
Yeah.
Like, thank God. Very convenient, and this is where she runs into Fran. Fran has somehow also got lost in the wilderness.
Because she was in the river.
Yeah,
And she didn't have her shoes or her phone with her.
that's Emma.
Was it? Oh, Emma had that's right, Emma
Yeah,
was
so
shoes
Fran
with
was
her.
just having a little picnic.
Oh, that's right.
And
She
then
was
sort
too.
of gets lost and
Yeah.
doesn't. And Sissy picks her up, and Fran is confused why she's headed.
That's the fiance.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
right.
fiance. Why is she headed in the opposite direction to the cabin? What's going on? Where's Emma? And I think I love this line. Sissy says, "If you love her so much, then why don't you know where she is?"
Yeah.
And you sort of see that possessiveness
Yep.
really rear its ugly head in this moment. It sort of really sets Sissy off because she's like, I would know where Emma is. If I was her fiance, I would know where Emma is.
Yeah.
And you're not attentive enough. You're not good enough.
Yeah.
And she starts raising the speed on the vehicle.
Yeah. And then she can't get the seatbelt on.
Yeah, it's stuck. The classic. She's going about 150 kilometers an hour. And Fran is very calm. I'll give her that because she's like, we'll talk about this later. Just stop the car.
So just over 90 miles, I think, 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Something like
And she does stop the car, and that sends
Suddenly.
it sends Fran flying out the windshield.
that. Nice bit of cinematography with that, actually.
This was done really well.
Really
This
good.
film was done really well.
Yeah.
Actually.
I feel like it's very poignant because obviously you have the reference to the initial roadkill incident.
Yeah, because Fran rode over the king.
Yeah, and so, my sister was like, "Oh my God, are they gonna do the kangaroo thing?" And I was like,
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, of course they're gonna
Yeah.
do the kangaroo thing. It's classic. This is Aussie horror we're talking about.
Yeah. I refer to it as Chekhov's kangaroo.
It is.
I like that.
It's-
That's
yeah.
the new Australian
That's
horror
really
trope.
good.
Chekhov's kangaroo.
Kangaroo. That's absolutely. She's bloodied. She's injured. Sissy goes to suss the damage. Very scarily strokes her hair, and she says, "It's the humane thing to do."
Yeah.
And she's got her like UGG boots on. She's covered in blood. She's just stomping.
Sound design was really good as
So
well.
good. That's just the
The only thing with that
bitumen.
scene that I didn't like was the upside down Dutch tilt on the way back to the car.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit out of place.
Yeah, they also had an upside down shot at the beginning with her driving.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, they
I
did
guess
that.
it's-
Yeah.
I
It's
guess
a little
it's,
heavy-handed.
my sister said, did they just forget to flip the shot?
Hey, look, maybe.
Maybe. Maybe they thought it's a requirement of horror
Oh,
films.
you've seen that shot in other films.
Midsummer, they do
Yeah,
it.
Irreversible does it. It's,
Yeah.
the world
It's
is
a
turned
classic.
upside down.
And it's
basically.
like, overdone.
Oh, it's a little overdone.
Overdone.
And use it when it calls to be used.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they did it in that moment either.
Yeah.
But it's a humane thing to do.
Like,
It's
if
great.
it was supposed to be from her perspective, watching Cecilia go back to
Maybe.
the car, then wouldn't it be
Sideways.
sideways?
Yeah.
Sideways, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, but
It's like, it's the same sort of thing, it's the same sort of thing, like in zombie films or apocalypse films where you have that more. Yeah, it's kind of, it's really that kind of effect.
yeah, it's just they're just doing the horror bingo at this point.
Yes, pretty much, there you go.
Yeah.
It's kangaroo and it's the Dutch tilt.
And then we get the head crush.
The beautiful head crush, because we know it's going to be graphic because the kangaroo was very graphic.
Yep.
It's almost, it's not comical. The head being squashed is not comical, but it's very sort of exaggerated. The blood sort of like,
It was a
bursting.
nicer effect than the later one with the crutch.
yeah.
So this was a much more technically good
Yeah, they
effect.
slow it down too, so
Yeah.
you really get to see the
See
head.
and hear the pop.
Pop. Yeah.
The pop was quite
It's-
something.
Yeah. And we knew it was coming, and it was a great moment. And I felt that was the one kill that I was like, oh, Fran probably did not deserve.
Yeah, no, she didn't deserve it.
Fran didn't deserve that. Jamie, Tracy, but Fran, that was, yeah. It felt like the first kill that really had like a lot of weight to the repercussions of the. Obviously, don't like killing one person, killing two people. That's bad, but this one felt worse, I guess. And she goes back to the house.
Yeah.
And by this point, Emma has found her friend dead,
Hidden under the bed.
hidden under the bed in
Why would
town.
you not leave her just in the bath?
Oh no! Yeah, I don't.
Why would you not just leave her under the bath?
Yeah, she has a way of incriminating herself.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
not a good killer.
She's not a good
Yeah.
killer, and I guess it's good it's not premeditated. But
And like,
Yeah.
she goes, oh, what's this weird wet towel? Oh, this is covered in blood. Oh my god, there's my dead friend.
she's just like shoved towels in
Yeah.
front of the body, and I was like, why would Alex do this, first of all? That's the strange thing. I'm like, why don't you just say like a robber came in or something? It's like she
Ivan Milat.
really wants it. Ivan Milat,
Ivan
he's
Milat,
alive.
there, people not from Australia,
Oh,
Wolf
yes.
Creek, yes, is who is portrayed in Wolf Creek, one of our nastier individuals.
That's who it's based on.
Yeah.
Before Emma, she runs into Emma, she hits herself in the face.
Yeah, and that's another thing actually might mention.
Oh, that was
Is-
fucked.
yeah.
That made me really uncomfortable.
There's a bit of self-harm in this, so
Yeah.
please be careful.
Yeah, read the content warnings.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
between the very least the deep cut with the stick and then this moment where she's beating herself up.
Yeah, but the phone thing,
It was a
though,
lot.
I mean, like this talks about in its own way the dangers of social media. There she's then
Yeah, she's
mutilating her face
using her
with a
phone.
smartphone.
Yeah.
It was a very
And
pointed
then she goes
image.
live.
Yeah.
She goes
straight
live
after.
with her bloody
Yeah.
voice. She goes,
Yeah.
Alex is trying to kill me, send help. And then
Yeah.
this is when she sees Emma, and she goes to Emma for help. She's like, Alex
Yeah.
did this.
That's it.
And Emma sees the necklace, she knows that's not true. And she realized, that beautiful acting from Hannah Barlow in this moment where you're sort of seeing her come to terms with the fact that, like, because she invited, and obviously it's not her fault.
No, it's not her fault.
But you're seeing her connect her actions, like, to the deaths of her friends
Yeah.
and her fiance. That's what she's
Yeah.
she's like, where's Fran?
Yeah.
And Sissy's like, oh, I don't know where she is. And she's just like this beautiful, like trying to hold it together because she doesn't want Sissy to be suspicious of the fact that she knows what she's done.
Yeah.
But she also, all of her friends are dead. And it is because of Sissy. And I just think...
No, they were all accidents.
Yeah, it was they fell.
Self-defense.
Self-defense. Yeah, that part was really like just her facial expression was like so gut-wrenching. I was like, damn. And then
Yeah. It was certainly not her fault. It is the consequence of really dumb
But
actions.
just like, could you imagine you like inviting
Yeah, exactly.
your long lost friend,
Yeah.
and then you're like, and you defend her.
You know, your long lost friend who stabbed someone in the
Yeah.
face with a trowel.
Yeah, you remember that trowel that was on your face? Guess who I've got in the back? Come on down!
I know I said Emma was a kind person,
Yeah.
but what friend would think that that's okay without
Yeah.
consulting
Consulting
your friend who has a permanent scar on her face because of this person's action?
Oh, I just think it will be a reunion. It will be happy days. Everyone will forgive each other. So just come in while I'm
She
basically
thinks
riding
she's gonna
rodeo
have
on your old best friend here as soon as they get in.
Yeah.
You know
She's
what I
going to have
mean?
her
It's-
Dr.
yeah.
Phil moment where they sit down and they hash it out and everything's fine.
I mean, there is
Doesn't
a
matter.
good portion of this film where most of the characters spend drunk or impaired in some way.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Actually, that is a good. I don't think Sissy does Sissy take shit.
No. She
doesn't
does
need
seem like
anything. At stage, but yes.
I don't think she's a person that would like to be out of control.
Which actually aligns itself with the music and the lighting and the colours and the kind of elevated, not quite sober state, not quite in reality the whole time.
And that motif of the sparkles.
Yeah.
And the stars.
Yes.
And like when Fran like rubs the stars on her eyelids.
Yeah.
And this idea of like the delusion and the fantasy.
Yeah. Remind me of Euphoria.
Yeah.
Those moments.
And those sparkles, like, they come back. We have, like, the night sky sparkling and, like, all of, and the gold nail polish.
Yeah. It's like the old rose-coloured lenses.
Yeah, it's very nice
modern.
little motif that she...
Yeah, all red flags look like flags through rose-coloured glass.
It's like when a cartoon character, like, hits their head and they have the little, like, birdies going. I feel like that's how Sissy lives her. She lives her life in constant state of that. So we're getting down to the pointy end.
Yes.
Everyone is dead.
So Emma gets knocked out.
Alex calls the police.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Alex
the
calls the
thinks
police.
it's one of his mates.
Yeah, can't speak because I would say
massive head wound.
massive head wound, significant brain damage.
Broken blood vessels in the
Her
eye.
sight is also impaired.
Yeah.
She calls this police officer,
You
and
remember that too. Her sight is
her
impaired.
sight is impaired, everybody. And she calls the police officer, and he has that moment pause. Again, classic. I just love, like, you're like, oh, yeah, this movie is Australian. They just have to remind you every now and then, which I love. I'm not saying that as a critique at all. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
He has the meat pie, and he pours the tomato sauce on, and he smears it around the pie with his finger.
Well, that's how you get the right spread of tomato sauce on the top of your pie.
It's so good.
I was literally doing that this week with a sausage roll.
I mean, yeah, why waste a utensil?
Yeah.
When you got 10 of them right there. I just thought that moment was beautiful, and he answers the phone. He's very, like, they obviously don't get very important calls very often.
No. Feet up on the desk.
Yeah. He thinks it's his drunk friend. It is not. It is someone in danger, and he soon realizes that. When he sees that she's in the middle of nowhere.
Through some bullshit technology that they don't have.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't have access to radars.
So basically, it cuts to like he looks up and there's the TV screen sitting on a filing cabinet, and it's got sim location, and it looks like the motion tracker from Aliens.
Yeah,
and it's just like this little flash, and oh, what are you doing in the middle of nowhere, mate? Oh wait.
Yeah, I mean, thank God they have that technology. Otherwise, these people would be doomed.
They're already
they're pretty doomed.
They're pretty doomed.
They're pretty doomed as it is.
There's some doom to go around.
And that leaves Sissy and Emma alone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sissy goes full-blown
Patrick Bateman,
like insanity. Full, like the delusion, there is no reality left any longer. There's no one to stand in the way of Sissy's reality, I guess. It's just her and Emma, and they're back to when they were little.
Yeah.
And it's everything, nothing's changed. They both have, she dyes her hair pink.
Yeah, gives her a haircut.
Very scary, cuts her hair. She has a little piece of duct tape on her face with a smile drawn on.
Lipstick, yeah.
And they're matching and they're having fun and they're best friends. And she's playing the tapes from the time capsule.
Yeah.
And talking about just how amazing, how young they look in the video. And it's very scary.
Yeah.
She's used the Pride, like, rainbow sashes to tie Emma to the chair.
Also not a good decision, because they're cheap.
Very weak fabric. That's, again, she's not equipped to be a serial killer or mass murderer.
But she gets away with it.
She does.
She gets away with everything in this film.
Yeah. So how does that happen? How does she get away with it?
Well, she records a video of herself saying that Alex is coming for her, please come and save me. And then she takes a video of Alex beating Emma to death with a crutch because she's mistaken Emma for Cecilia.
Yeah, so Emma gets out of the chair, obviously. She uses her best friend necklace to cut open
the serrated best friend necklace.
Yes, the very sharp best friend, which would have been a great weapon earlier on.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I like that or the quartz more.
Yeah.
She gets free, she attacks Sissy. She's like, no, Alex was right, you are a psycho, and you've always been a psycho. And Sissy's like, you said I was a good person. She's like, well, you're not.
I thought you were, you're not.
Yeah. And she is attacking Sissy. Alex sees someone being attacked and assumes that Emma is
being attacked by Sissy.
And caves her head in.
Yeah.
With that crutch. Just absolutely.
Pancakes it.
Pummeled.
I think it's 15 or 16 hits.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then...
And that effect doesn't look great.
I don't know, I found it pretty,
it's confronting, but it's not technically good.
Yeah.
It's a little bit Negan smashing in Glenn's head in.
Yeah. Again, I think it's probably the car was so... The car was so good because they had the practical effect, but also had the CGI as well.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was a lot more practical, and it probably was less effective.
Yeah.
But it's
still good. It's not as good
and
as
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because you see Sissy filming, and Alex realizes that
she's just killed the wrong person,
and Sissy is still alive, and she's going to get away with it. And she has that realization just before she gets shot in the head by this police officer
who finally arrived.
He's obviously inept. A headshot, just off the bat, I was surprised. I don't know how hard it is to shoot someone in the head, but I was like, right in the head?
I mean, he comes upon a scene where there is one person beating another person to death with a crutch.
Yeah.
That person still has the crutch in their hand. They're approaching another person to beat them. Like, I get it. Put a bullet in their shoulder or their leg or something. But he might have just panicked and shot her in the head.
I think it was just
probably that.
due to his incompetence. All of these deaths, all these kills are incompetent.
Yeah.
And that's the only gripe I have with this film. I don't know if it was well mapped out enough, the deaths, to align with Sissy's mentality, her psychology, her insanity, however you want to put it, yeah? Because, as you're saying, some looked not so good as others, some seemed intentional, some seemed accidental. I think it could have been mapped out and kind of made a bit more cohesive how they approached the kills.
Yeah, and I guess some of them were sort of just like for convenience sake.
Exactly.
And some of them were obviously meant to be a lot more poignant kills. And then some.
I think the ending could have been stronger. The message could have been stronger overall if they had mapped it out more cohesively and clearly. Yeah. It's not a takeaway critique that will make me dislike the film, but there was the only little bit of what's the word? Lack of skill there. Basically, a lot of skills shown in this movie, but that was the only points. And not to go into comparisons, but look at what Talk to Me did.
That was a very beautiful I mean, I don't think there's a lot of programs that have endings quite like Talk to Me.
Yeah.
Or the practical effects go so new green level. I'm just excited to see where they'll go. But we're not talking about that.
We're always talking about them. So that's how it ends. She gets shot, and then
book deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course, she becomes famous.
She is the lone survivor of the Alex.
She goes on the
Kurus massacre. Which is crazy.
Yeah, but it's this world, isn't it, that we're living in?
And
it's this world that
and
we're living
everyone
in.
believes her.
And I mean, she's got proof. She's got proof
of her.
Sure.
There's footage of her beating, someone's head in.
Edited.
Yeah. And who's going to say otherwise?
Exactly.
There is no one left to say otherwise.
As long as we see it on the socials, it's
Yeah.
all good, it's real, it's fine, it's lovely.
And, she's selling her bespoke circle of robes.
That's what she's
was
saying.
was it non-allergenic?
Hypoallergenic.
Hypoallergenic.
And her book is called something ridiculous. Like how to
Imagine
thrive,
that, yeah.
how to thrive instead of survive.
Yeah, it's full of all these nonsense phrases.
It's just so good, and like her hair's up, like the sort of, it's got like the sort of
She's taking the pinky out of
mature,
it.
yeah, like a mature sort of spin to it. Like now that she's like survived
And
this
unscarred.
tragedy. Yeah,
Very unscarred.
yeah. And she does her signature giggle, and yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the movie.
Are we going to give it a score?
Sure.
I would love to.
What's our score range? Is it we going to do the popcorn rating, or the English
Well,
rating?
before we do that, if I can ask,
Oh yes.
especially you, Swim Green, you hosted this, you chose this, and you are Gen Z, we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the message of this film? What is it trying to say? I mean, it's very much of now.
Yeah.
It's a horror film. What is it?
What is it trying to say?
Yeah.
It's an excellent question.
Stop doom scrolling.
Yeah, I feel like there are a few things running alongside of one another. I think it's like there's an element of like a catharsis of like just like from childhood to adulthood. Like it's a cathartic movie for, like I said, like the outsider and the bullied. To sort of see the bullied kid get their revenge, I feel like that's like a very surface level
Sure.
thing. But I guess I would say like the social media element is probably like about I don't know if it's not as simple as don't believe everything that you see online, but yeah.
Because to bring back Talk to Me again,
No,
sorry, I don't know if you
no.
watched. Did you watch that Spikama movies? The Korean film analyst, yeah, because he's brilliant. He did one for Talk to Me. Spikama movies, check him out. He's on YouTube, Instagram. He's brilliant. He looked at Talk to Me, and he said it would be easy to see the metaphor of this film being drug addiction, but no, it's grief. The underlying message, the underlying metaphor for it all is grief. I think with this one, yes, there's social media, where all the delusion, the hysteria, the mental illness is conveyed, but it is about not letting go again.
The not growing up.
I think it has that kind of, that trauma-based and is covered over. Social media is the duvet, duna, wherever you're from, the comforter, so you don't have to think about what's really going on in your head. Which is what I think was happening with Mia. And she had her drug addiction problems, and then the hand became the new,
I guess
drugs
like,
to not think about her dead mother.
and I guess Sissy's is like likes and comments telling her how special she is and how important she is.
And I would like to say that this isn't just about Gen Z and social media. The shit's been going along from the get-go. You could say it's like back to the days of MySpace, but you could also argue that it's back to the invention of goddamn television or fiction narrative itself. That sort of thing, diary writing, however you want to put it. The social media is just the contemporary manifestation of that.
Yes,
yeah?
absolutely.
Yeah,
and it's like, I try not. I saw someone review it and call it sort of a Gen Z kind of horror. So I think it's like a good way to explain her. But I try and avoid labeling it that because I don't want people to go, oh, well, I'm not going to watch that.
It's even if you wanted to call it a Gen Z horror, and it's looking at social media, it's a worthy thing to look at because that is kind of driving people fucking insane out there. You know what I mean? There are real dangers to it.
I think you're right. It is about the delusion and the wanting to stay the same forever and not move forward.
That's good as well. Yes.
Emma,
Freeze
like
time.
Emma has moved forward,
Yeah.
and Sissy has not.
Yeah.
And you know, you look at the metaphor of the circle and staying in that circle.
Yeah.
And
It's just
that,
like with salt, you
that
keep
is your,
demons
yeah,
out. Yeah.
that is your safe space. No one can enter into your safe space. So it's like she has this circular wall around her, and she probably will forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's right. It also like reminds me of movies like Jennifer's Body and stuff. It's the like the obsessive sort of infatuation of, I guess, like female friendship, and especially like queer coded female friendship, because Sissy is in love with Emma.
Yeah.
I see it as, at least, like, and whether that is like in an admirational
It's not
way.
romantic.
I don't think so. I think she wants to be her, because then they have that reveal. Talk about a good reveal is you watch the video and you're seeing it for the first time that,
Diamond hair pink.
and I want to have a yellow car, and the whole Sissy drives this beautiful yellow car.
Vintage yellow car.
Yeah, and you like that video is not shown till the very end of the film.
Yeah.
So you don't know the whole time you see her driving this car. You're like, oh, that's a cute
But
car.
when she says, Emma turns to her and says, so what do you want to do? And she says, I don't know.
Yeah, she said, I don't know. I don't want to grow up.
Yeah.
She just wants to be Emma.
I don't ever want to grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever want to grow up.
Yeah,
And
so
then-
there is that.
And then cut to credits, and it's a nice sort of VHS effect.
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah.
I like
And the
those
song
credits.
that they sung.
I did wait till the end to see if there was something after the credits.
Was that?
No. But I kept expecting like one of them to come back to life, like just come out of the forest, and it's like, oh no, it wasn't quite dead.
Sissy undead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to see
Yeah, no.
a franchise.
No, it would be a terrible franchise.
Have you seen Spree? Just as an
No,
aside.
it is a similar sort
Spree's
of...
another Gen Z social media
I
horror,
think
so
they-
it's coined.
I saw someone describe this as... Wait, I want to find the Letterboxd review, but they... let me find it. I haven't seen Spree, so I didn't...
Spree is a guy who rideshare driver in America, basically live streams himself. Needs to get more numbers, not getting enough numbers, so he just starts killing people.
Nice.
And it just gets more and more fucking crazy.
Okay. I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah. It's a real bacchanal of a film, and the point is obvious, But what they do is really effective. They'll have 3 phone screens up on the one film screen from 3 different characters, and you lose track of what's reality, whose screen is what, who's doing what to what. So it really does immerse you in that immersive insanity.
Yeah.
So would that be something you would watch on a phone?
Yeah, it would be effective on a phone. Absolutely. That is a movie I'd never recommend watching a movie on a phone, but I would recommend that one.
Yes.
Because of all those things.
Interesting. No, I haven't seen it, but there is this review for Sissy that says Spree, but for the girls and the gays.
There we go.
So I thought that was very good. I almost shared that on the Instagram. But
Spree again is on Shudder.
yeah, there's
Isn't
so
Shudder amazing?
Shudder's getting so goddamn
By the way, Shudder, if you're watching this,
hi.
please sponsor us.
We'll look into that. Time.
When Evil Works is on there.
When Evil Works, Terrified, that's by the director of Terrified, which is one of the most brilliant, terrifying horror movies I've seen
Yeah,
in
I
a goddamn
haven't.
long
There's
time.
so
And it's new.
many. Piggy is on
Yeah,
Shudder
Piggy's
as
on
well.
Shudder.
If you wanna.
The Terrifiers, of course.
Yep, 1 and 2 and 3 coming up.
3 coming up. I couldn't recommend Shudder
So great.
more. And also have a look at their series. They've
Yeah.
got the best 101 best moments in horror films, cursed films.
Personal fave I have is Queer for Fear,
Yeah, there you
which
go.
is talking
Yep.
about like
Yep.
specifically queer links to horror. Very good.
And also, while we're on it, yes, this is a queer film we're discussing, and it's a horror movie, so there's Horror Queers, the podcast. A couple of brilliant analysts right there. And if you want to flip it over to the female side of things, Spinsters of Horror podcast, shout out Kelly. Check them out as well, because they're kind of the female flip side.
And it doesn't just have new and cheap stuff on it, like it's got Evil Dead, it's got Silent Night, Deadly Night, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's something there for everybody.
And it has it's called Shudder TV, and it's just 24-hour streaming horror.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can just put that on in the background. If you're having a party, you need projection, you need visuals, turn the sound off, put that on.
Yeah.
Shudder's great.
It is. It's like one of the only subscriptions I pay for.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting rid of a lot. Just paring it down to maybe just that. And I don't know, I'll think about it.
Dracula.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, what a good show.
So,
Should we rate?
We're rating it. Should I
You go
go
last.
first? Last? Yeah.
alright, so what rating system are we using?
Oh, no, my phone's over there. I can grab it.
Go straight, it's fine.
It's fine.
People will forgive us. This is, you're seeing the inside behind the curtain.
I'm seeing.
Okay, so yes, the rating. We've got my phone here. All right, so 1 is burnt, 2 is flopcorn,
Yep.
3 is satisfying, 4 is delicious, and 5 is evil.
Okay. Well, I'll go first then. Look, honestly, this is probably, I enjoyed it, but it's not something I think I'm going to revisit. So I think I will probably go with 3 satisfying.
We go 3.5.
We'll go between 3 and 4. It was well made. I put some notes down here, which is the lighting states are excellent, the camera work is great, the staging is amazing, the direction is good, most of the acting is good, the kid actors were across the board amazing.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy that Sissy just becomes Cecilia Sissy /Sissy just becomes more and more unhinged throughout the film, which was a nice escalation. But it's a butterfly. Come away. Not on the podcast. Get your own microphone. I don't think it's something that I'd revisit, but I was not dissatisfied with the film.
Yes, I'll go for a 3.5 as well. I thought it made its point very well, and without, hammering any kind of, message home too strongly, not spoon feeding, that type of thing. Kept it nice and ambiguous, and kept it quite insane. And but I got where Sissy was coming from. Yeah, while I was watching it, I was like, yeah, fucking kill them all. And,
They deserved it.
but I know that is not the message of the film. So there is a catharsis thing there, but also the social messaging is solid by the end of it, absolutely. And 3.5. And we all need to stop doom scrolling a little.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will addend my score with, if you are looking for a feminine energy film or a queer energy film, this certainly does then go higher. It really covers that sort of thing. But yeah, just for me, the 3.5.
Yeah, yes. Screenplay.
Yeah. I think this one falls somewhere between delicious and evil for me.
Okay, 4.5.
Maybe a
Somewhere,
4, somewhere.
Okay.
Between a 4 and a 4.5.
4 and a bit.
Yeah, 4 and a bit. I really love this film, which is why I recommended it.
Yeah.
I think it is so fun, but also very unhinged and very disturbing. And I support women's wrongs. I support women's wrongs. I really do. And
That's good.
I love to see a killer that is also the final girl of the film. I think that is beautiful. It doesn't.
Yeah, I did.
It doesn't
Clocked on
happen.
there. The final girl's the killer.
Yeah, and the directors, they always knew that that's where she would end up. Because you're always rooting for the final girl to win, but she's the killer, so it's a very the sort of moral ambiguity of that.
It's making you really look at your own actions and kind of seeing the world and what's happened to you in your own life
accountability.
And how you deal with accountability.
And
very good, thank you.
So I just think it's very clever, and I of course just love the feminine friendship, let's record this little video and let's, Diamante this Friends Forever box and the necklaces. Oh, didn't even say that, but she joins at the end. She joins the two pieces together, and there's a little ding, and it's just very beautiful.
But creepy. Which is an achievement. It's an achievement. It's a good
sparkly horror.
Balance.
Sparkly horror.
Sparkly horror. It's really good. I love it. So,
The jazzle.
The jazzle.
Horror jazzle.
Or jazzle.
Her jazzle.
No.
Let's leave that.
That's the new evil pop. That's the new 5 score. Her jazzle. Okay. Yeah.
What's next?
Well, it's me. Hello. Yes, and we are doing. If I can all do this one. Yep. We're doing The Well, 1997, starring Miranda Otto.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, we've got another link back to
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me.
I think that's going to happen a lot.
Yeah.
The Well, Miranda Otto, I said I was going to do Mideyes at the start when we were doing this. There was a couple of spooky, rural, atmospheric Miranda Otto films I saw when she was much, much, much younger than Talk to Me or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And one of them is called The Well. Yes.
Okay.
Where do you find it? I don't know. On our socials, we will let you know. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do all the things, like it, share it, tell your friends. Do we have plugs? Aaron, you're pretty busy.
Yes, I got a bunch of stuff on. The Well is not on Shudder. I'm just checking.
Okay.
I got a bunch of stuff on. So coming up this next weekend, which is the first weekend of November, we're doing a show for Improv Queensland called The Starting Zone, which is an immersive D&D style adventure where the actors play the NPCs, non-player characters, and you, the ticket holder, will be playing the heroes who have to solve a quest with the help of the NPCs in the environment.
Very cool.
And then Supernova's coming up, which I'll be doing some work there. I'm hosting for Katie Sackhoff and Tamara Morrison, amongst others. And something else. What am I thinking?
Uncle Mus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Jake
Wow.
Mus.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I shall say kia ora to him for you.
Yeah, I do so, thanks.
And Speed the Movie the Play for Act on Wynnum Fringe.
Wynnum Fringe, okay.
Act Speed the Movie the Play, where we take the movie Speed, we do it in about 45 minutes, and it's a comedy.
Fantastic. How's the project's going there, Screen Queen?
It's good. Second draft is almost in, so keep an eye out in the next 6 months for something to actually happen there.
I will not be doing any shows. This isn't a grand announcement that I'm quitting. I'm not doing any shows for the rest of the year because I want to create a couple. I've decided I've got to fucking do it,
Cool.
And I want to do a grand guignol. Guignol, I hope you say that goddamn word. Do you know that? Extreme European 19th century drama theatre.
Okay.
Where basically these kind of little Victorian Gothic style scenes, and then all of them end in a spurt of blood that spurts all over the audience. That's pretty much what it was. I love it. And I also want to do an immersive copyright on all of this. I'll kill you if you copy. An immersive theatre piece with a giant size doll's house filled with dolls.
Interesting.
Yes. So 2024.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, Evil Corp.
Yes, my apologies. Yes, my goodness, we are here at Evil Corp. Thank you, Kate. Kate refuses to get in front of the camera, but Kate and Jay and all hers. Created a brilliant thing here. We just did our second year Halloween, which is second year in business as well. Check us out, Fortitude Valley or online. And I work at some escape rooms. Come visit if you want.
It'll be all over the socials.
It'll be all over the socials, yes.
All right, well, that's it.
Okay, cool. I have no idea how long we went, do you?
1 hour 39.
Oh, no, really?
Oh,
Okay, cool.
that's
A little time to just hit.
All right. Brilliant.
It's very exciting.
Fancy. It's almost as fancy as the equipment in that police station.
Yes.
All right.
Well, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
It is.
Happy horror days.
Happy horror days.
Yes.
If you see a dying kangaroo on the road, run over it.
Yeah, don't get out
Yeah,
of the car.
I think that's really the message of all of
Put it out of its misery.
Yeah. Don't need to
It's
have
the
a conversation.
humane thing to do.
Yeah.
Before ghosts and social media killers just invade the environment.
And don't forget to, because often it could be a trap.
Yes.
Right.
Bye.